Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction, a talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org, for more info, or you can email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Kacy Baker. We'll be discussing his book, The Lonely Dinosaur, and also The Lonely Dinosaur Meets Wrecks. So we have two books to go ahead and jump into. And just so you guys are aware, both of those books are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Kacy was brought to People of Distinction today by some of the best movers in the business, Author Reputation Press. If you have a book that you'd like moved, move it through Author Reputation. You can find them at authorreputationpress.com. Listen, first and foremost, I don't know how many of you out there have kids, but, teaching and learning to read is such an integral part of all of our learning and development. I mean, we've all been there. We all had to learn it. And finding new ways to make that easier for our children is absolutely magnificent, and I think that's something that we all strive for. So the books that we're going to be discussing today are children's books. They are books prepared to help them learn how to read, and it couldn't really have happened at a better time, right? I mean, we're all spending a lot of time at home lately, and these books, if your kids aren't driving you up the wall yet, these books just may be what you need to just kind of help them simmer down a little bit and bring the education back to home that way, and keep them on that track. So without further ado, we have Kacy on the line with us. Kacy, first and foremost, man, thank you very much for being a guest with us on People of Distinction. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to it. Kacy, let's just focus on The Lonely Dinosaur first. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, it's about a dinosaur who hatches, and he's alone and just tries to enjoy himself, but I guess he just really wants a friend.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's kind of learning that lesson there. Such an intriguing title, The Lonely Dinosaur. I mean, I'm assuming that maybe you have some interests in dinosaurs, and that's kind of why you focused on that particular, mammal. But tell us a little bit about the title of the book and how you developed that creatively.
Well, it all started as a drawing. I was drawing a picture of my daughter, and I just kind of drew it, and then I was like, oh, I think I'll color it, and then I started coloring it and everything, and then it was just kind of a surprise thing. Like, she liked dinosaurs and I like dinosaurs, so I was just kind of drawing it up. And then I was like, oh, I think I can kind of do this to them, and kind of added something, and kind of did something else. And then I was like, oh, shoot, I think I could write like a whole little story thing out of this thing. So that's what I did. And then, it just kind of blew up into what it is.
Wonderful. So not necessarily something that you set that creative journey on to write a book for, right? I mean, initially it started, like I said, you're kind of just drawing with your daughter that way, and that snowflake developed into a snowball as the ideas kept pouring in that way.
Kacy, give me a little more background on yourself. I mean, I know you spoke to us about how the creative inspiration sparked through, just creating pictures with your daughter that way, and how you felt incredibly supported through the people that were around you in your personal circle. I'm always curious to know with my authors, I mean, was in terms of your creative expression and your creative background, I mean, did you always see yourself as an author? Where did that come from?
Well, I have like little creative things I do all the time, and I mean I have always been like that, but I just always use them as little moments to enjoy the people around me, that kind of a thing, like kind of do something with the people around me with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's really something that, again, going on this continuing theme of unity was always something that you kind of used to create a connection with those around. It was always something that would bring you together, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was a kid, I used to love reading books.
Great. So any particular titles that really piqued your interest?
Yes. Like, I really wanted to be an author, and then it kind of, like, I was like, I don't know if I have what it takes. I don't know, like, if it'll ever happen. Kind of got put on the back burner, then just kind of got forgotten about. And then it just, I don't know, it just happened.
Beautiful. Now, were there any particular people in your life that helped kind of spur this creative journey of yours?
Well, first my kids, obviously, and then I guess just everybody else that's, really in my life. Everybody's real encouraging and just kind of push you along and just let you know that, they're behind you and that they think you're doing a good job.
Absolutely. Having that support system is so important. Guys, again, we're on the line here with Kacy Baker discussing his book, The Lonely Dinosaur. We're going to follow up with The Lonely Dinosaur Meets Wrecks. Just so you're aware, this is a series of books. We're going to be discussing the first two today, but there's a third that Kacy actually just completed. It's going to be releasing shortly in the next upcoming months. But altogether, it's going to be about 7 books in this canon. All children books geared towards that particular age group. But there's so much to be had here. And not only can you find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but you can also go to Kacy's personal website. It's kacybakerauthor.com. There you'll be able to find more information about the books that we're discussing now. And then when the rest of the series gets completed, you'll be able to find more information on the site for that as well. So Kacy, tell us a little bit about, so we've discovered the Lonely Dinosaur in the narrative, but talk to us a little bit more now about the Lonely Dinosaur Meets Wrecks. Can you give us a brief description on that one, please?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything or say too much, but he meets a friend and he kind of learns that friendships are tough.
Of course. So basically, they're specifically geared around themes that children will encounter in terms of the Lonely Dinosaur and how to make friends, how to, kind of establish that. Now, Lonely Dinosaur Meets Wrecks, the next theme is, okay, now I have a friend. How do I navigate those waters? Those are all things that we encounter. I think you're doing it in a very creative way by incorporating the dinosaurs, something that, a lot of kids would love and really latch onto. Kacy, why did you feel that these were stories that needed to be told? And again, getting back to your initial reference on how you started creating just the character by just, drawing pictures with your daughter. Now, I'm sure that your own experience probably had an influence on creating these stories. Why did you feel like this was something that needed to be out there in the world?
Well, I just, I kind of felt like everybody else would enjoy it as much as I would. As much as I enjoyed creating it, everybody else would enjoy seeing it. And I thought it could just be something important in everybody else's lives.
Yeah. And next question that I have for you, Kacy, is, talking about the different books that you have here, really talking about the series of books that you're in the process of creating. There's a lot of different layers already that we've highlighted and that we've come across, and I'm sure with the other books, again, it's going to be 7 in totality. We're only discussing 2 here today. A third one is upon completion, so there's going to be a lot of different themes that are addressed in the overall series this way.
But if there's one thing that you really want our audience here at People of Distinction to be able to pull from this interview, I'm sure when you were creating this narrative, there may have been some type of theme that you really wanted to get across to your audience and to your readers.
I guess mainly what it's all centered around is just kind of wanting to, and not just, all right, I would want to share this with my kids, but at the same time with the rest of the world or whoever, is reading this with their kids, just to have a laugh. And at the same time, just kind of see that, each other's all we have. So just kind of, be the best friend you can be.
Absolutely. Right. So building that sense of community, the importance behind that unity. there and coming together as really, I mean, this is a message that we talk about here all the time on People of Distinction, and how important it is to come together with our human family, right? At the end of the day, that support that we can bring to each other is so impactful, and so powerful, and very much needed. So beautiful, fantastic. I mean, that's a wonderful message that I'm sure everybody, not only just in our listening audience, but everybody in our human family can really get behind. Such a powerful narrative.
Great. You know, the next question that I have for you, Kacy, talk to me and talk to our listening audience here at People of Distinction about the next book in the series, The Lonely Dinosaur Helps Chip. Tell us a little bit about that narrative and how that developed.
Well, again, he meets another friend, and this one, I really wanted, like, each one of his friends, I kind of like focus mainly on that one, and
Absolutely.
kind of my goal on this one, like, as I was like drawing it, I really wanted the reader and the kids to really love Chip. So it was like really like focused on him, and I really wanted them to enjoy him.
Fantastic. You know, really following that theme that we've already laid out in terms of the importance of friendship and the importance of building a community. You know, Kacy, I will say, I think by the time you've published the 7th book, or getting ready to publish the 7th book, you're probably going to have to change the title. I don't think he's going to be the Lonely Dinosaur anymore.
He's going to have quite the number of friends there with him, so we might have to make some alterations. Fantastic.
Right, absolutely.
Guys, on the line with Kacy Baker, discussing the Lonely Dinosaur series. We finished discussing The Lonely Dinosaur, then followed by The Lonely Dinosaur Meets Wrecks, and then we just finished talking about The Lonely Dinosaur Helps Chip. All three. There's 3 books in a 7-part series, and you can find The Lonely Dinosaur and The Lonely Dinosaur Meets Wrecks on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. In addition to that, guys, like I said before, you can also go and visit him directly on his personal website at kacybakerauthor.com. There, not only will you be able to pick up the initial books that we've already talked about, but you'll also find more information on The Lonely Dinosaur Helps Chip and other books that Kacy is in the process of creating. And once they're finished, there'll be more information upon that website as well.
Obviously, it's a children's book series, and maybe you have children, maybe you don't. Okay, maybe this is a message, a book that applies to you, or maybe it doesn't, right? But the overall message, the underlying theme, is something that is universal, and it's something that we can all jump on board with and take that journey. We're talking about unity. We're talking about the community and bringing everyone together and having that connection, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to help each other out, right? You can only get so far on your own, and I think that that's a beautiful message that Kacy is bringing to all of his books. And of course, it's geared towards children, but at the end of the day, it's got to start somewhere, right? And it's such a powerful message that way. So if you have kids, get the book. If you have kids in your family or anybody that you know that has kids, I mean, this is such a great book and a series of books that they'll really be able to get behind. Fun journey that they'll be able to laugh and learn at the same time alongside with you. So go ahead and get the books, The Lonely Dinosaur and The Lonely Dinosaur Meets Wrecks by Kacy Baker, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Kacy, thank you so much for being a guest with us on People of Distinction.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for having me. It felt good. Yeah, it felt really good. I liked it. I thought you did really well.